What's going on, SPC? After so many great reviews last year, y'all know I was going to do something brand new for y'all, right? I mean, y'all know I'm joking, right? Yo, crown me king of SPC. You thought you were on top, but on top only one could be. You better go home and get a better strategy, because when it comes down to it, you gotta go through me. I said it before, this ain't no game. SPC got say a film locked on a chain. Ain't no shame when I game. Sim is like our middle name. We calling so many plays, got you going insane in the membrane. Cypress Hill, let me say it once just to make myself clear. SPC is taking over. Every CFM out there better run the other way out of fear. Hey, y'all like that one better than the one last year, right? I feel like Tupac right now. So out of Pac's spirit, we're going to try to give y'all an SPC jingle to get along with, have you singing it to your kids and your wife. I don't know, whoever's around you. Irritate them with it. Go a little something like this. We can't deny it, we some straight ballers. Y'all should've rolled with us, leaving other CFMs in the dust. Hammer time on these fools, we must sing along. We can't deny it, we some straight ballers. Y'all should've rolled with us, leaving other CFMs in the dust. Hammer time on these fools, we must. Yo, I'm done. Alright, I'm done. Cut the beat off. Stop the track. Let's get to the podcast. It's all about Madden. Ignore me. I'm done.
Evening, Commissioner.
What's going on, SPC? It is the one and only, the Warhol, coming to you once again. Coming to you today, trying to give you guys a little bit of love, because there's so much love that needs to be passed around at SPC that I feel like I have to do this one live. So right now we are live. You have the ability to call in. We have a lot of gossip to catch up on. We have certain issues that have just been hitting in chat for the last 3 to 4 days, issues that I cannot reply to. So I am willing to put the blindfold on, as they say, stand in front of you and take the fire. So what I've done is I've gone live. I put the number to call out in the announcement board so that you guys can actually reach out that way. Unscripted program here. And I don't know who's going to call in. Don't know if the whole thing is going to work. Thanks a lot, Skype. But right now you are live and you have the ability to call in. I will touch on a few things until we get a few calls. One thing I want to touch on would be some of the things we've been dealing with in SPC. That would be the PPA, something I have been pushing for now since the Madden 2017 console. We finally gave it a name, if you will. This is nothing different than the attribute system that we had already set up. We just now try to make it a little more fancy, calling it the PAA. We're trying to push this for several reasons. We want to actually get our league out there among the other leagues. We want to contend with some of the other big leagues that are out there that we've been talking to for the past 2 years. I think at this point now, with us having another league we're trying to get started, that we're starting to move in the right direction. I think the competition level is good with SPC. I think the chat room is vibing pretty good these days. And I just think it's time for us to take the next step. So we're going to actually try to get ourselves outside of our own walls and actually get some fans of our league. I know that sounds crazy, right? You having a fan? I mean, come on, you haven't even won a game yet. I'm talking to myself because I am 0-3 in SPC. Anyway, not going to pay attention to that small news. What we are going to focus on is the PAA. I'm going to hit on that first, as I just did, but I'm going to go a little bit more in detail for you all who don't know what that stands for. It's Player Attribute Award System. It is something we put in place back in Madden 17 due to the fact that Madden stripped us as the gamers, the users, with the idea or the right to plug in the stats the way we wanted to. They started doing this back in Madden 17 by adding a feature that decreased your players' attributes. If you remember back in Madden 17, you would have a cornerback. If your cornerback was like an 88 or 89 speed wise, by the time that guy, if he was 29, if he turned 30, or if he was 27 technically and he turned 28, his attributes just dropped off. I mean, dropped off big in like 4 or 5 categories. And here you are with a guy you paid all this money to who's now declining, while of course the league is getting younger, and it just wasn't fair. So we added this attribute system back then to make sure that we could balance that system out. We have not changed the attribute system since. Again, the only thing we've done is given it a name to make it sound more fancy so that you guys can actually have something to talk about or a way to label it in chat. That would be the PAA. Player Attribute Award. So now we are trying to use the system to, the way we work it is so that you can go to daily, do your write-ups, etc., podcasts. If you want to help out with our media team doing different things like game cards or whatever, you can actually earn attribute points. We had one guy who earned some points already in Green Bay by simply doing a podcast script. Yes, your guy, the Hog, has someone who does a podcast script. Thank you, Green Bay. I'm going to talk about Green Bay a little bit later, too. So I want to touch on that. That is available. I do want to push it. I want that to be something that we all do. Along with the PAA, we've also added the scouting this year, which we're trying to do. So I hope you guys get involved with that. You can find all this information on our rules page, things we're trying to do to make our league more fun and unique among other leagues. We know a lot of you guys play in other leagues. I play myself in about 3 or 4 at a time. So we're trying to do things a little different to help us stand out in comparison to the next league. Other than that, SPC has some news earlier today. Josh Jacobs, I know some of you in the chat got fooled, at least 2 or 3 of you. I got 2 or 3 of you guys. So 2 or 3 of you thought it was real news, but no, that was the first SPC punishment that came out given to Josh Jacobs, the Oakland Raiders, for abusing his college sweetheart. She's down. You saw the picture, you saw the advertisement and everything. So that is how that works. Josh Jacobs is going to be under suspension for 2 weeks as he goes through investigation. I'm going to put some music on because I just hear myself talking. And honestly, I don't like my voice. So I'm going to try to fix that if you just bear with me. Normally we have this thing on record where I can just play some music in the background peacefully and then amp it up for you guys later on. Can't do it now because we're live. So there we go. You should hear something in the background, I hope. Anyway, going back to what I want to talk about, also the sliders. That's a big thing we've had going in chat lately. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to call in. So in case you don't have the number, it is 443-282-1486. If you want to call in and state your opinion about these sliders and get these things pushed to a vote, by all means, feel free. I know Miami is one of those guys who will probably lead that phone call. And if he doesn't call in, it's only because he does not know we're doing this live, as it was unexpected. Another issue that's been coming up lately, which as I'm trying to tell some people in chat as we speak, sort of for it and behind it, I don't like this whole sub linebacker rule. I am for changing it. So if anybody wants to change it that is here, by all means, call in, support your boy, the Hawks. We can get this thing changed. In the meantime, I will go over some of the things that are happening in SPC right now as we speak. We are in week 5, technically. Just got into week 5 earlier today. I don't think any week 5 games have been played. So what I'm going to do is take a second and go through what's happened record-wise from weeks 1 through 4. So in weeks 1 through 4, I meant to hit that button a little louder, right? That's so embarrassing. And because we're live, I'm going to do it again. It sounds so much cooler when I do it, right? So look, we have some new users, and some of these guys have come in pretty impressive. Some of them came in impressive with their mouth just talking, but the real story is starting to play out here. So in week 4, or games played up to week 4, we have certain teams that have done well and certain teams that have not done well. Some of those teams that have done well, the Bills, they came in talking big trash, Beasley talking trash, and Beasley is so far backing up pretty decent. Right now, his team sits at 3-1, and at 3-1, we have him coming on with looks like he probably has a tight game this week. He's leading the way with the Patriots here. I'm actually cut what I'm saying because we do have our first call in, and I don't want this guy to hold on too long. So let me try to pull him up here. As you all can probably hear the music in the background just going crazy. Where'd he go, caller? I don't know why it's not coming up on this screen. I see and hear the call, but I can't get the thing to open up. that is weird. This is the hog. Who am I speaking to? Caller must have hung up as soon as I got him on. You people are so evil, I tell you. Well, back to what I was saying until we can actually get that guy on here for real. What I was saying was the Bills, they're doing a pretty good job right now. They come in. This will be Beasley. He's coming leading his division. The AFC East Bills right now are going for a 3-1 lead over their division, followed by the Patriots, who are 2-2, the Dolphins 2-2, and the Jets 0-3. If that's not a shocker for your panties, I don't know what is. But the Jets are 0-3 right now, and who knows what they're going to do as we come forward. Now, a little bit of that's because they were out on vacation. We're not going to try to make this a real big thing. We know he's going to probably get his team back in order, but right now we can tease him because he's 0-3. We're also going to go over to the AFC West. The AFC West, we have another tight battle going on, at least with the top two teams, with the Broncos sitting at 3-1. And the Raiders, again, we just mentioned Josh Jacobs, who has been suspended for 2 games. But the Raiders right now are currently 3-1. The Chargers came in with high expectations, a little late to the league, but they came in, they won big. I think they actually won 2 games in a row, had an amazing game against the Miami Dolphins last time, won that game 47 to I think less than 7 points. They allowed the Miami Dolphins to get on the board. So the Chargers are doing pretty good. The Chiefs, disappointing. The Chiefs coach actually left from Dallas and he went to the Chiefs, has an amazing offense. And yes, I'm saying the Chiefs right now are sitting at a 1-3 position in the AFC West. Not a fun time for them. I think we all expected, no matter who the coach was going to be, no shade being thrown here at the Browns, but we expect them to be at the top of their division, and they are proving to do just that as they are sitting at 4-0. The surprise here of this division will be that the Bengals are coming at 4-0, and the Ravens are following with 1-3. The Ravens came out the gate strong, beating the Dolphins, and we thought that these guys were going to actually turn around this year, but now we see that Swift is back under 500, a place he is too familiar with, if you ask me. Steelers right now at 1-3. We'll see if he can turn that around. And now we have the AFC South, going through this as quickly as possible, not to make it sound boring, but the AFC South, the Jaguars. That's my main man. He's like my best friend in Madden. This will be Plan B. Plan B, Brad himself is a Jaguar this year. Not an Eagle, but a Jaguar. He is 3-1 as a Jaguar, taking those talents over to the AFC, making the AFC strong at 3-1. The Colts come in at 2-2. And, of course, you have the Texans, which was my main man, Henneke, the only man that I will say publicly I love. Henneke, Houston Texans, 2-2. Titans, the X Factor, at 1-3. Titans had a nice win. Not sure what's going on there. He has these up and down moments where he plays well, then he doesn't play well. Right now, his record is showing that he's not playing well as he sits at 1-3. That wraps it up for the AFC. As we move over to the NFC, things get a little worse for your boy. In the NFC, we're going to start off with the NFC East. Cowboys leading 3-1. Tech fan, my man, is still doing his thing no matter where he goes. He came over from the Jags and he's showing his little hind parts off again at 3-1. You have the Eagles coming in with the West Coast Killer. West Side. West Coasting is actually his name, people. I just like saying West Coast Killer. But the Eagles are coming in at 2-2. The Redskins 1-3. And the Giants, who were the champion of the NFC East in our last console final 2 seasons, I believe, they now sit at 0-4. Again, part of that because he was on vacation. So we'll see if he can turn that around. The Cardinals, I want to talk about a little bit, but not right now. But the Cardinals are leading the NFC West with 3-1 record. The 49ers follow that up with a 2-1. The Rams coming in at 2-2, right on the brink of trying to figure out what they're going to be this season, while the Seahawks have fallen under 1-2-1. I believe this is the only team in SPC that currently has a tie. Of course, there's another team, but you know what I'm trying to say. The only matchup that currently has a tie that is played out in our leagues from weeks 1 through 4. We also have the Lions who have stepped in. This would be, I think his name on the line is Sweet something, but in chat we call him Blaze. Blaze is doing pretty good. Very impressive player so far, being a rookie coach in SPC. He's coming at 3-1. The Bears trailing behind them. They whipped my butt last week, 2-2 with the Green Bay Packers. What? I think this man deserves an applause for simply being over. Oh, that's the laugh button. Yeah, I hit the wrong button on purpose because no one thought this guy was going to actually make it to be over 500. And he was over 500 last week. This week he's actually sitting at 500. We'll see if he can make that move and get from the third place in the division while he's tied right now with the Bears at 2-2 and see if he can swing up over the Bears. Vikings 1-3. Expected better things from the Vikings. So far that has not shown, but right now they're 1-3 trying to fight their way out the hole. The Saints come in at 2-1-1, while the Falcons in the NFC South come in at 2-2. Panthers and Buccaneers are at 1-3. So some of the surprises here are the Packers. I want to say they've actually come in below 500 every year. Packers were last cycle, same user, same coach, same everything, and yet they found themselves actually winning games. These aren't sim games. I think they had maybe one game sim, but they actually did pretty well in the one game they played, and played the other games that they lost very tight. So we'll see if this is a new change for the Packers. He doesn't talk a lot in chat. I think some of it has to do with his confidence in his record and how that plays out, but we'll see if he actually warms up to us now that he has a 500 record, if he can win in week 5. Going on here, I'm going to open the lineup. If you want me to call you, since that seems to probably be the better option here, we'll go that way. I have one person here that is not from here, but if anybody wants to talk about some of the things going on in chat, I will sit here. I will play music while I wait for your phone call. I will try to call. You'll probably hear me calling the person that does want to talk about this over the music as I do that, but that's okay because we're family, right? So get over yourself. Here we go. Derek Minor, one of my favorite rappers. Get over it.
Cold world, most of my kin, that it depend. That's why I'm an Eskimo. I bought an igloo and put on my wrist. Ran out of option, we gotta survive, so we taking risks. Committed sin, we gotta live, it is what it is. Red dot on your white tee, it look like Japan. The 40 years on me, and if I get high, they blow like a fan. They talk about the hood like they know the answer, but never been in. Committed sin, we gotta live, it is what it is. Yeah. Everybody got the answers. They said that they plan is the master. They preach it to us like they pastors. Amen. Yeah. The government treat us like cancer. The prison system make us bastards. I sent on the news and it's plastered. We can't even turn to charity. They make money off our tragedy. They get the money. If life is school of hard knocks, the street will teach you like academy. Everybody in their glass house tell us what we need to do to make it out. When they was born on the mountaintop, they ain't seen the bottom, they don't know the route. You think that we choose this environment? I wish I could choose that entitlement. Instead of being born in poverty and hungry hyenas surrounding me. The Fortune 500 won't hire me, so we create our own economies. With dope money, our salary, just to feed our families. I close my eyes and pray that God deliver me. Churches moving to our hood, but they don't come and speak. I don't know you. Why they gentrify? We risk our life. Selling dope, probably die not knowing Christ. Cold world, most of my kin, that it depend. That's why I'm an Eskimo. I bought an igloo and put on my wrist. Ran out of option, we gotta survive, so we taking risks. Committed sin, we gotta live, it is what it is. Red dot on your white tee, it look like Japan. The 40 years on me, and if I get high, they blow like a fan. They talk about the hood like they know the answer, but never been in. Committed sin, we gotta live, it is what it is. I used to wonder why we blow our whole tax refund on brand new J's, Gucci belt, few gold chains. When you can put that change in a IRA, you just waiting. By the time that you retire, you be at the millionaire stage. What's the point of saving anything? You dying, you can't take it with you. And that'll probably be the night, cause the way that they shooting, the straight shot they hit you. I bet you God hear the prayers of millions of mothers. And they all sound the same, even though they sons in different gangs and they shooting at each other right now. You hear her cries now. Now hear hashtag, they debating about it online now. That's what I call an abortion. And since we talking about abortions, we ain't put the clinics in our own hood. Somebody making a fortune. You talk about these mothers like they out here killing for sport. Rather kill a baby in their belly before it get brought into war. Pray for them. You politicize our genocide, then use a victim as a scapegoat. But if you care like you say you do, you should talk less and do more. Cold world, most of my kin, dead at the pen. That's why I'm an Eskimo. I bought an igloo and put on my wrist. Ran out of option, we gotta survive, so we taking risks. Committed sin, we gotta live, it is what it is. Red dot on your white tee, it look like Japan. The 40 years on me, and if I get high, they blow like a fan. They talk about the hood like they know the answer, but never been in. Committed sin, we gotta live, it is what it is.
So what did we discover during that song? We discovered that in the chat of SPC, we have some true comedians. I mean, all of you guys are some jokesters, and I can't even repeat the stuff you all are putting in the chat on air. Anyhow, talking more about the league, and I'm going to keep this going for maybe one more little segment, then I'll cut it off if no one truly wants to talk. So what we're dealing with in SPC, a lot of you guys have complained about this. Well, not a lot. Let me rephrase that. A micro percentage of you have complained about the sliders, and I don't think you really understand what we're going for, trying to be a assembly that tries to get ourselves in position to at least look at our sliders and have a positive reflection of what we see on Sunday in NFL. So we can't control some things such as sacks, for example. No homo for you all in chat who are still going off, but we're talking about Seahawks. So we're talking about sacks. Now, right now we're in, I think we're in week 5. No games been played. We already have a high of 23 sacks. I think we have 4 guys in 20 with 20 sacks or above. We can't control that. What we can control, or what you can control as a user, would be your percentage of throws made and not made, right? So if you throw a wacky ball that ends up being intercepted, then you pretty much can take the fall for that yourself. That's a human controlled thing. So I cannot look at this chat while I do talk to you all. So we do have quarterbacks who are struggling. That's been noted by several people who've come in the chat who stated their case literally every single day. It's not because of the sliders. It's mainly because you're making bad reads. I hate to say this on live air, but that's what it is, my man. You're making bad reads. So what you have to do is play the game more efficient, more real. I have 2 quarterbacks I played playing as the Washington team who I do not want to play as. Thanks a lot, Swift. But I'm playing as the Washington Redskins, and I've made some bad throws. Every interception I have has been on on me. But I've also had in those same games, my completion to attempt has been pretty much been good, like 14 and 19, whatever the case. I don't know the numbers specifically, but it wasn't out of whack where I'm walking off the field with like a 20% or a 30%. And that's what's been said in general chat to make people think that the stats are recording less than what they are. The other issue, as I touched on already, and I'm just going over this, and now I'm going to state my personal position. I, for one, never have been a person that wants to belittle what EA does for us. EA actually brought in this sub linebacker thing about a year ago. I think it was last Madden. It was introduced to us. I loved it because it actually reflects what we see on Sunday. I don't care about how fast a safety is or whatever the case may be. It did matter. I'm with Cool Breeze in this point. It did matter last year in a way because they did not have, well, if you play linebacker, you can do the suction interception, which pretty much is when you just throw a ball and it's 10 to 15 yards over a man's head, he will still end up getting an interception. That's not the case anymore. So now the more realistic idea of how this function is supposed to work is working, meaning that if you have a linebacker at safety, a skinnier guy, a smaller guy, a guy probably who cannot block shed as well, you can now do what a real NFL team will do and check down and then do a run play, a screen play, whatever it may be to get them caught in the traffic And then you have that advantage. Now, if you try to play to your tight end, then you have maybe an equal shot, or you're playing at a disadvantage. I don't know. It depends on the linebacker that's there in terms of coverage over the tight end. But it does make things more balanced for the defense. I watch the Ravens. The Ravens do it all the time. They have a guy on their roster that probably wouldn't make other rosters, but he's on their roster specifically because he plays middle linebacker in special sets like nickel and dime and any other set that has 3 wide receivers. So, no, your boy Hog is not against this, so stop coming at him. Hog actually supports this. I just never want to say that, because when I say that kind of stuff, for those who may be on the fence, and me being a commissioner, not that I have magical powers or anything, but I don't want to use my influence in any way whatsoever to influence what someone else is thinking. And that's why I remain quiet, and that's why we do everything at SPC by 100% votes by all members. The only thing Hog has set the foundation for is what you all give me the foundation for from the previous year. And once we start to change that, it's normally because a vote is forced, because the majority, or at least half of the population, starts to push for that. That has always been the case, always will be the case. I do change the sliders on my own, but that's not something that I think all of you pretty much take time to figure out, analyze, and try to go through all the things that need to be go all the channels that need to be gone through to figure that out. And that's the only reason why. If I had someone that was trustworthy that I thought could figure it out, I would do it. And truth to that point, Super and I last year spent about 9-10 games going over sliders over and over again with no one else assisting us, and we pretty much almost hit it on the point. He didn't know because we didn't go with it 100%. We ended up going with the guy we went with last year, Astus, if I'm saying his name correctly. Let me try to get this call that's coming in, because this is really horrible that this Skype thing won't pick up. I don't know what's going on, guys. Just, if you're calling, I see you calling in, let me just try to connect it one more time, and let's see if it lets it connect. Just give me a second. It's a 180 number. I don't know. There might be some kind of sex line or something. Let me... Knowing you fools. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Nope. So, I don't think that's one of us calling in. And I'm a little scared to answer that call because it does look a little funny. I don't know anyone that has a 1806 number that starts off with not anywhere in America. So I'm not answering that call. It's a little scary. I don't need a hog call girl, as was said earlier in chat. So I'm going to close this program out. I just wanted to get my emotion out there in reference to what's going on. If there is any confusion at all, please feel free to send me a DM. I'm very surprised I did not hear from the Dolphins owner, as he is, giving us dissertation after dissertation about sliders. I thought he would be the first person to call in so we can actually hear him out and try to get his side. And maybe he can convince some of you guys to go with him and we can get this vote thing started. But surprisingly, he did not call. So I'm going to close out as I always do. Sorry for the lack of format, but I wanted to hit you guys up with a podcast today. I did not want to wait any longer, trying to do it every Monday. Missed Monday, of course, because of the day being Tuesday. Had a little bit of extra time and decided to do it now. So we're going to close this bad boy out, as we always do, with some music that the hog likes. I will be taking music requests, and we will do a live podcast next week that will be more formatted. I will actually have a format because my writer, Green Bay, will probably write it up for me, and we'll have an open chat. And by then, hopefully we'll have this open mic thing working properly where I can receive a real phone call, not one of these little fake phone calls you guys are giving. Anyway, introducing you all who don't know, I'm going to introduce you to my main man, Sho Baraka, one of my favorite rappers. I don't like the average rappers. I think average rappers talk about a lot of the same stuff, but Sho Baraka's my man. This is an old song for him. I will conclude by saying two more things, which you guys hear me say every day. I want to take over the CFM world, not in a mean, competitive way, but I just want our league to be very strong on every front. I don't want other leagues to look down on us, because I feel that someone has to lead the mantle, and we may as well join those who are trying to do the same thing in that right. Meaning, I want to have the Daddy Lee's page populating with stories. We have several avenues, in case you're not that creative writer, that you can choose to write those stories. We have other ways you can choose to help out with SPC. If you are a new member, all you have to do is ask myself or other people who are on staff. There's several things you can do to help us from recruiting and more. Okay, that number's calling in again. All right, so I'm a bite. I'm gonna call the number back. I'm not gonna go get off yet. I might be stupid for doing this. Let me just go back over here. 18. Let me write it down because I'm gonna call this number. And if it's some goddamn trick, I meant that literally. 543. All right. So give me 1 second. Calling the number. And the call was declined. Of course it was, because it's not a real number as I thought. It's probably a sex service. Sexy hog. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and close out as I was going to do just moments ago. I'll play my little song, as I said, Show Baraka, giving him a little bit of love here. Give my man Show Baraka some love, SPC. SPC, I'm closing out with a new saying as well. Well, not new. Just saying it because I already put it in writing. But a place where the sim players play. Baraka!
Please listen carefully. Please listen carefully. Please listen carefully.
Yeah, okay. Another day in this world system. Still tripping. I don't expect anything different. They say, well, save dogs, save dolphins, save trees. But kids ain't really that important. See signs of genocide, yeah, keep silent. But for some land and oil, we get violent. All I hear is less faith, more science. If it feels good to you, then try it. Sex addicted, make kids born victims. Blood shed blood, Crips and sex tripping. Young girls watch videos, they live reckless. Give up their virginity, all for a necklace. My man was driven, he was sitting on wisdom. He traded that in for some rims that's spinning. He got 26s, but his rent he can't pay. So he's like, oh well, it's still a good day. Back in school, we wasted our lives, we was way too cool. He told me his story, then I shared mine. Come to find out he ain't changed much since the 9-9. He's one of those if brothers you've met before. Like, if I had this, or if I wasn't poor, or if I had money, I'd open a store. If that brother cared at all, he would probably have more. All the money he wants can't buy joy. Dollar bills don't make men out of boys. Money can't buy him love, but it buys strippers. If it can't fix his wrong, it buys liquor. I might become one old man with a bad liver, but I've been drinking for years and I hate quitters. Pop sold drugs, mama was an alkie. When I get old, I'm pretty sure I know what I'll be. An aimless soul struggling just to cope. Government selling us hope, but giving us rope to hang ourselves, so I die a little every day. So he's like, oh well, it's still a good day. So I know the Lord's worth. Even on holidays, I know the Lord works. Outside of Christmas, I'll rap in His name. Jokers mad at me, I don't do this for the fame. I will not sell my soul trying to make it in the game. Most of these rappers' content stay lame. Yeah, there's good rappers, but our music's not the same. They rap for the dollars, I rap for the change. I don't do this for the selfish gain, homie. He went auto-tune when he took that T-Pain, homie. Pull over, you in the wrong lane, homie. I swear it read H-O-V only. I ain't talking about the rock, I'm talking about the rock. Now watch that sky drop, and you can get it, bruh. I guess what I'm trying to say is, oh well, it's not a good day.